Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video we'll be doing something interesting. We'll actually be showcasing the Blunderbuss build for Outlaw for PvP. I've always wanted to do some kind of videos where we showcase some of the different builds available for rogues in terms of combining different talents and setups and how those builds play. As with this expansion, like with Legion, we actually have legendaries, and these legendaries can alter the way that certain classes play in a variety of different ways. In today's video, we'll be showcasing one of the builds of Outlaw PvP, and I think you guys will like this one a lot. This build of Outlaw allows you quite a lot of pistol shots to bandolier enemies out of the way, with very high focus on sustain, creating a very unique build that's full of common points. So in today's video, let's dive into the Outlaw PvP Blunderbuss build. Now, Outlaw rogues have a variety of different legendaries. You have your Celerity that gives Adrenaline Rush extra damage, and Slice and Dice has a chance to activate Adrenaline Rush. A lot of rogues thought that this was going to be really good for PvP for Outlaw. You also have Mark of the Master Assassin, a legendary that I also get to play with. And while both of them are really good, Mark of Master Assassin, Outlaw just doesn't have enough bursty things to do in the opener and doesn't really have a structure for that kind of damage. It's still a very good legendary for PvP, but it's just not quite designed with opener damage in mind, like the other two specs. Celerity is also good, and of course you would want to combine it together with something like Control as King, where enemies around you that are stunned, polymorphed or whatever are also granting you Adrenaline Rush, so you get to double dip into this legendary quite often. However, with how Control as King plays, it's just so buggy that kind of cancels out your current Adrenaline Rush, which goes from a big bursty ability to a 3-second duration, which happens quite often. So in this build instead, we're actually going to be taking a look at Concealed Blunderbuss, a legendary that I thought was very interesting to take a look at way back on the beta, and I've never really thought about actually trying it until I've seen a couple Outlaw rogues, a few that do play PvP right now, trying this build and actually getting some great success. The legendary for Concealed Blunderbuss reads, when Sinister Strike hits an additional time, there's a 40% chance that your next pistol shot will fire 2 additional times. This gives you a 40% chance on Sinister Strike's secondary hits, which is pretty low chance to begin with, so it's like baseline 35% chance that your Sinister Strike will hit a second time, and then 40% chance of that 35 that you'll get the proc, which sounds like it would be a very low number, but it's actually quite consistent in how often you get your Sinister Strikes with very specific talent builds. This allows you a lot of pistol shots. That means also a lot of common points, and all the different benefits of Roll the Bones, like your broadsides that generates extra common points, can basically make your pistol shot generate your full 6 common points or 5 common points, depending if you run deeper strat or not for your talents. But it has a lot of different things to it, primarily the extra sustained damage that it brings you, the extra common points that it provides you, and overall this sustained heavy playstyle that can be utilized in arenas. To make this build work, we'll end up running a very specific talent setup. I like to combo it together with Weapon Master, since Quick Draw, only one of your pistol shots will benefit from Quick Draw, the others won't, so you might as well go for more chances of those pistol shots. Acrobatic Strikes, because that seems to be a really solid choice for Outlaw, but you can run whatever you want in this row. Deeper Strat, since you're going to be generating a lot of common points, so we are going to be sticking to Deeper Strat because of the extra common points that we get. Elusiveness, because that's a good option for PvP. Blinding Powder, as it's just perfect for the spec of Outlaw. We can go with Alacrity for that sustained damage playstyle, and Blade Rush or Killing Spree, whichever one of those you like, for PvP in the last tier. The honor talents for this playstyle, and I've been playing around with honor talents a little bit. Smoke Bomb is my go-to in just about every PvP situation. I've also been trying to take your cut instead of Control as King. I'm just not a huge fan of pressing Adrenaline Rush, then having my partner polymorph something, and there goes my Adrenaline Rush shortened to a 3-second duration, because Control as King overwrites your current Adrenaline Rush. So I've been playing with Take Your Cut, which allows haste buff from Roll the Bones, as well as Slice and Dice. I wonder if Blizzard will end up changing it so only Roll the Bones gives you the haste. Finally, I'm a huge fan of Dismantle, and I'll usually run that for melee, and I'll maybe swap it out to either Thick Thieves against casters, or maybe even maneuverability, depending what the situation applies, since Outlaw Rogue, with this build in particular, can actually stand toe-to-toe in damage. So how would you end up playing this build? This would be the stereotypical swashbuckler build. If you've ever wanted to play Rogue when it comes to your setups and openers, that would be where subtlety's at. But where most people imagine Outlaw playstyle, it will be just gonna get in there like a warrior without the need of stealth, with just a little bit extra CC utility. And that's kind of how it ends up playing. You basically end up playing it like a warrior, although one that doesn't wear plate gear, so you are a little squishy, but you have a lot more crowd control in order to deal with enemies. The extra common points is quite weird to get used to, but when it does proc, it feels really good. it does apply quite a bit of extra damage, filling in the gaps for some of the setups you have. It makes it that much easier for you to maintain between the eyes of the enemies with all those extra comm points. Your dispatches become a lot beefier. Your deeper stratagem is able to capture all those comm points and get more value out of it, and also lets you play, because of deeper strat, for a kidney shot that's now 6 seconds, but turns into a 7-second kidney shot at a 6th combo point. So you go from 6 to 7, 1 extra second on your stuns, which gives you opportunity to lock enemies down. This makes vanishing for a sap, if you're, let's say, trying to CC the target with your kidney shot into a sap, much easier. And the damage output of those extra pistol shots is quite nice, especially if you end up getting some really good buff combos. Buffs like broadsides as well as crit buff are going to be exceptionally good. If you get a crit buff and most of the shots crit, that's quite a bit of burst damage. Broadsides, where all of them will do 20% more damage and generates extra comm points, sign me up. That's going to be a lot of finishers you'll get to dump into the enemy back to back to back. And it plays, I think, really well into the way that people imagine the Outlaw or the Combat Rogue incense playstyle. With Killing Spree, Alacrity, Elusiveness, Deeper Strat, Weapon Master, Acrobatic Strikes as talents, it gives you this kind of like a flurry-ish build. We're able to swap from enemy to enemy, cleaving things down, really play like a melee would for a melee cleave. It definitely takes away a little bit of this rogue thing with the setups that you need to go for. I mean, you'll still have great CC, and you'll still probably end up doing most of your damage during kidney shots onto enemies that are locked down, but it will play very similar to that of like a Windwalker playstyle or warrior-esque playstyle, somewhere kind of in the middle, plus a little bit of stealth and CC on top of it. It ends up actually being a very, very fun playstyle. While the others, it's basically trying to, or at least what I felt, with the other legendaries, I felt like I'm trying to mimic what the other specs of Rogue would be able to do, but it just wasn't designed for it, as I feel like Outlaw, at least for PvP, ends up being a spec that's really good at just constant sustained damage. And with this legendary, you're able to take advantage of that fact, of the fact that the spec is all about the sustain, the output, without really the need for huge setups from your stealth openers. Basically, less planning, more slicing, and that's what this legendary allows Outlaw to do, or I guess in this case, more pistol shots in this regard. But I've been playing this build a little bit here and there, and it's actually quite a lot of fun. It is definitely different, and in some cases weird, but I've been enjoying it tremendously. And the thing is, you don't even have to build yourself that differently gear-wise from how you would play with Outlaw. Just stack as much versatility as you can from gear, and you should be for the most part fine. So if you were ever wanting to play Outlaw and wanted to make a legendary that kind of fits into the playstyle, you could always go with a crit Lego, but if you really wanted to explore some of the fun side of what Outlaw can bring, I think the Blunderbuss legendary might be something to commit into. Even if you just end up making a 190 item level legendary just to give this build a go, I think it might be worth. But anyway guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Let me know what your thoughts about the Blunderbuss build. It was super fun to explore a legendary playstyle and see how well it can do in PvP. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I'll see all of you in another video.